Praise the Lord, everyone. Brother Roop here. We are in the middle of Paul's sermon to a synagogue in Antioch and Pisidia. That's in southern Turkey today. It's probably called by a different name, I'm sure. But since the Islamists took over. But that's where Paul and Luke are. And they went visit a synagogue on Sabbath, Saturday, and they invited Paul to speak, which was a customary thing to do. And Jews visiting the synagogue, new town, they would ask them to say something encouraging or good. Paul jumped at the chance to preach the gospel. And so we're in the middle of the sermon. We are in chapter 13 of the book of Acts, verse 18. It's a short verse. It says, "And about the time of 40 years suffered he their manners in the wilderness." Now, Paul is using the historical rendition of the Jews to show these people that he is no joke. He knows his Jewish history. He's on top of it. He knows Jewish religion. He's not a backslider. He's not, he knows his stuff. So he's telling them the history of now God bringing the Jews out of Egypt and in the wilderness of 40 years. And now it says 40 years suffered he their manners. That's a very awkward translation that we have in the King James Version. Some wording in the King James can be a little tricky. This is one of those. In the Aramaic, it says God nourished them in the wilderness. He nourished them in the wilderness. In the Greek, the wording says God put up with them. He endured their manners. He endured them. Or he put up with their misbehaviors. So the Aramaic says nourished them, which could be a more loving way of saying, yeah, he put up with them as he took care of them. And the Greek says he put up with them. In the New Testament, I tend to side with the Aramaic and Syriac. So I'm going to do that. So he nourished them in the wilderness, meaning he took care of them. And by taking care of them, he also put up with their bad behavior, which we can read in the book of Exodus. Amen. So Paul is given redemption. He's going to give them a historical context, and then he's going to give them the gospel. He's going to give them their Messiah, who they have crucified. And, some will accept it, most will not. We'll see. But Paul is preaching the gospel, not for money, but for souls. That's the way it should be. So it's an interesting little verse. It's a good verse to get back into the original texts like I did and like you can. And if you like these little videos, you can subscribe and ring the bell.